What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your weekly astrology forecast for the week of July 12th through the 18th of 2021. Brian here, Fixedairmoon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Truly appreciate you for tuning in. I hope you're having a great weekend. Hope you're doing great out there. Happy birthday to the Cancers. It is Cancer season, and we're getting to the end. Leo season starts next week, so kind of a fast Cancer season. At least it went by fast for me, but with so many Uranus aspects, I mean, there's some sense of a timelessness, really. And I got to be honest, I'm very excited for this week. We're going to see Venus and Mars come together in Leo. The moon's going to join. That's wild that the moon's right there with Mars and Venus here in Leo. Last time we saw Venus and Mars come together was, I believe, August of 2019. So definitely been a while. A lot's happened since then. And so this new Venus-Mars cycle is going to start up. Definitely an exciting time for creation. When I look at all the stuff we've been through over the last couple of weeks, especially with the oppositions to Saturn with Mars and Venus, the squares to Uranus, T-squares, it's been heavy. We kind of had to really break out and push the weight away, and the weight was heavy. So this is kind of like a week of sort of this freedom to express and create that's pretty beautiful. I think that we can still feel like there's levels outside of ourselves that are, there's always something out there. But I think it's important to really focus in on our personal life. We just had a new moon in Cancer. Like, your roots and your foundation and how you feel is so important. And especially with Mercury now locked into Cancer, I mean, we're going to be processing these emotions much more mentally, than maybe just the feeling aspect of them. So we might be doing a lot of, deep introspective thinking on whatever it is in life that's showing up that's making us feel one way or another. They're going to be processed, and people are going to speak their emotions now. So if things are coming up, hopefully you were speaking your truth and your emotions before, but definitely can come up more in this time. I kind of want to go back to the Mars and Venus in Leo and talk about that, just because it is a really beautiful aspect. When you think about Mars and Leo coming together, it is male and female, the man, the woman coming together. And, then you think about the 8th house and Scorpio, and it's like that merge of these two polarities in our reality, and they come together and they make the most beautiful creation, which is human. And it's this, phenomenon in itself that, a man and a woman can just make another human. It's, right? We all know it, but it's very, it's a magical, aspect that happens, and it's very beautiful in its own right. So there is this merging of these two energies, Mars being our impulse, our desire, how we're going to move in the direction. We can be definitely a little heated. Mars and Leo can be stubborn, but hopefully it's stubborn for the matters of the heart and the freedom to express yourself 100%, to the bone. That's one thing about Leo, is it's so creative because it knows who it is. It knows what it wants, and it creates from that perspective. So there's this desire to push forward with matters of the heart, with love, with excitement, with joy. And we've had to go through so many, Saturn oppositions of responsibilities, what we're dedicating ourselves to, the outer world, governments, people, difference of opinions. So I think it's nice to get back into this space of kind of separating from all of that as those two come together. And Venus, of course, is our receptivity. It's this great mirror. It's how we bring in good things, how we bring in abundance, and what matches this, frequency of our own hearts, and what makes us feel good, what lights us up. So with these two planets coming together in Leo, this is, and I believe they're coming together at 19 degrees. They are on Tuesday morning. So it's a very powerful manifestation degree. So we are, in a very big time of creating right now. And Leo is creation. Leo is, truly creative, gonna make it happen. Fire's blazing, that creative fire within us. So hopefully, you're really in a place right now where you're feeling the things that you want to create, and you want to really put out there to the world. There is that stage aspect to Leo. We got to like step up and shine for these things. We got to step up and shine for the beautiful insights that have found us, and how are we going to, actualize those? So it's this creative actualization of what you as your own self really wants to bring out there. And hopefully it's something that, your heart is singing for. It's something that, your heart's burning for. It's something that brings you this sense of joy and happiness, right? Because I think if there's too many things that you're just trying to push for right now that are not of the heart, and as a generator in human design, like, I can tell you, like, I've done plenty of things in my life that I wasn't into or didn't want to do, and I do them anyways, but that sucks our energy dry. And not everybody's a generator. A lot of people are, but we want to check in with the heart and like really like be like, yes, this is what I want to dedicate to. This is what I want to create. This is what I want to bring to life. There's this beautiful life force this week that's coming together. So it definitely brings up relationships too. I mean, this is a great time for relationships. Like, talked about like that merging of energy to make a human, right? Scorpio, I mean, we're talking about sex. This could be a very, intimate time. Like, people could be very like going for it, right? Which is beautiful in itself. And, depending on culture and society and where you're at and where you live and your own, values and beliefs, that could be something else. Or if you're in a relationship or not. So definitely like could be a very, expressive time for love. And, however you like to express that, maybe with a significant other. I will say that these two energies coming together in Leo, right? Leo, fifth house, that's like love affairs, So in some ways, there's this aspect of, if you're in relationships right now and your heart's not in it, or you're not giving fully to the other person, if you're not giving them the attention they want, I'll be honest, with all the aspects Venus has gone through with Uranus and Saturn, like, there could definitely be some affair action, So if people aren't getting the love and attention and the ability to express themselves, possibly in their most authentic self, they might go somewhere else. So definitely a possibility. As far as like, this is a great time, I would say, like, relationships starting, new love, but sometimes new love comes after old love ends, and it's just part of life, right? So of course, I don't wish that on anybody. I hope that you're creating whatever it is in your life for, a heart's purpose right now. I think that we're in such a personal time with the sun in Cancer, Mercury in Cancer, Mars and Venus in Leo. Like, the more you can really focus in on your roots, your emotions, your heart, what you want to do, that's going to vibrate and echo out to, the big stuff, whether it's the mission or the job or, the legacy that you want to leave behind. But, without having this like creative spark or this emotional foundation of security within your own self to make these things happen, even this confidence to really express your great ideas or your, great imagination, especially with the sun going to trine Neptune this week. I mean, a very beautiful time for imagination, and that Neptune's going to quincunx over to Venus and Mars, which I'm definitely kind of labeling that. Hopefully I said Neptune, quincunx, Venus and Mars. But, that's like this like spiritual purification. In my weeklies, I was calling it a spirification. So like going through that with the different houses of each sign. If you're interested in that, please do become a member at fixedairmoon.com, and you can check your sun rising horoscope for the week. And I do that every week for the members, of course, as well as dailies. Little plug there. But it is that spiritual, purification, that spirification, because I look at that first quincunx, that first 50-degree angle, as both Venus and Mars have moved away from Neptune. This is like a very like Virgo in conjunct. Even I look at it like a chart. Like, if you're looking at 0 Aries as the ascendant, you get that 50-degree, or that 150-degree quincunx at Virgo, 6th house. So like, there's this like spiritual cleanse right now, and it's very, I think, creative, and it's trying to move things in your reality to get you closer to that, that wholeness. It's trying to unlock boundaries in your life, especially when it comes to what you think is possible for yourself. Like, you really want to like have that faith to change up things in life to mold your reality in a way that you can create from the heart. And I think that Neptune's really like bringing a very unconscious, very strange pull with the quincunx to make that happen, as well as the trine with the sun here in Cancer, this water trine between the sun and Neptune. Extremely creative, extremely like dreamy and unconscious, and hopefully not, forcing us to escape into negative aspect patterns. So, whether it's like drugs or alcohol, things that are, to our detriment. And that's what I think that sixth house too is like. There's this purification that's kind of coming through that we're going to get very subconsciously. That's very divine and very orchestrated, and it's to like clean up these little aspects of our reality and of relationships as well with Venus, and also little parts of ourself within our ego and our body with Mars here, so that we can kind of like be this well-oiled machine to create. But it might come through very spiritually, very like divine. Ooh, I just got the hit. Like I need to, the divine hit, not the hit. But sometimes I will say that that divine hit can come through that area of life. Be very honest. If I didn't, participate in some drugs in my earlier years, I may have never woken up spiritually. Who knows? Hard to say. Anything could happen. But that was definitely a part in, my early years growing up. Pre-Saturn return. Saturn return came and, I haven't had alcohol or drugs in 2 years. So, just saying. So, there's that. And, I think it's a very, it can be a very connected time. Like, it's sensitive, especially with Cancer season and the trine to Neptune. Like, we're very open right now. So, take care of your body. Take care of your emotions. Speak up for your emotions too, and how you're truly feeling. If coming to like Venus and Mars and Leo, if you are feeling like you're not getting the love and attention that you want, well, those feelings are valid, but you got to let other people know, whether it's a significant other or just it could be whatever, right? But speaking up for how you truly feel is so important. And not just kind of putting on the rose-colored glasses in a way with the sun trine Neptune. Like we can definitely just get like, I'm not gonna, everything's just so beautiful in life, and there is so many beautiful things in life, but I don't need to create something. Gosh, I got this itch to make something amazing. Maybe, maybe next, who knows? And there is that level of Cancer season too, where we do kind of just want to like get comfortable and kind of disconnect from the world. Although there's always the world's responsibilities tugging on us, trying to pull us here, pull us there. It's always balance, right? Got to find a balance between letting that creative energy come through and actualizing it with Mars and Venus and Leo, bringing that creative, spirit and that creative intention to life in, very beautiful ways that light you up. So when you get that hit, go for it. We're also seeing Mercury come back into the semi-square with Mars and Venus, which is very interesting. We had that with the Mercury retrograde, and Mercury's out of shadow. It's in a new sign. It's ripping again. So we're going to be going through emotions fast, for sure. Like, processing and, understanding them. Is going to make more sense. So we have to express them when it comes to our partnerships. We have to express them for the things we want. We have to express them for what we want to go after in life. So, it's very important to speak about whatever it is you want. Like, we don't want to, it's not a time to shy away. Like, there's a lot of energy, and we're about to come into Leo season next week. We got to get up on that stage and show the world what we got. Show the world how special we are, right? Like Leo's like special. Like Leo thinks they're special. They are special too. Leo is one of my favorite signs in the zodiac. Just because of that, just true, authentic self-expression. And they get hated on, right? For being narcissists, for being egocentric. And that's just, what they're meant to do is to shine. They're the sun. So, we gotta all kind of like grab that, creative potential and really rise up every day like the sun with the intent to create for the heart and for what opens us up and lights us up and brings beauty into our life and with people in our lives too. It's just very important. So we don't want to, have this blind spot of like not, you know, expressing our truth, not expressing our feelings, not expressing what our heart wants. So don't like, just, don't just put the blinders on. And like, I would say that's the thing with this Neptune trine, because trines are very harmonious. We almost don't even feel them sometimes, but they're powerful. This Neptune and the sun are like getting along really well. They're both in water. They want to feel. So that like the more you can let these feelings channel through you and like, do something about it, the more you can use that in a very powerful way. And it could be, taking a break from the outer world and responsibilities to really like meditate on something, to meditate on how you're feeling, to meditate on how you're being treated in relationships, and like come to this, conclusion, this aha moment, which I think we've had plenty of aha moments with all the squares to Uranus, and they could have come in very what the F ways. Like, are you kidding me? This is showing up in my life right now. Yeah, I mean, however it shows up, it showed up for a reason to take us higher in one fashion or another. And then by the end of the week, we're going to have, very interesting, by the end of the week, we get the sun opposing Pluto in Capricorn. And very interesting that this new moon also didn't have Saturn, Jupiter, eclipses going on. So we kind of had this freedom until we get to Pluto, which we've had since 2008. But this opposition to Pluto is kind of a trip too, because the moon is going to be in Scorpio for that opposition after the first quarter square at, I believe it's 29 Libra. I just glanced at the charts when I was putting them up here on my iPad to show you. But yeah, like very deep introspective time by the end of the week. Like there are just certain things in life that we want to dedicate ourselves to, and there's certain things that don't have an emotional connection anymore. There's certain things that don't light us up anymore. And we can obsess over things or feel like we need some sense of this like outer security, and that's very, moon in Scorpio is like, I'm going to hold on to these feelings because they make me feel safe. And then never fails, those security things that you're just holding on to for some perception of what's safe get ripped away to, help you graduate and learn more and go deeper into what really matters in life and what, is going to get you to the next level, what's going to get you to rise up. So, definitely could feel like there's just this need to let go of something. There's a need to, really, it's also kind of a purification in a lot of ways, through transformation and osmosis. It's like, you took in a lot of information since the sun was in Capricorn with Pluto. And, I would say that this is that like full moon aspect with the sun and Pluto in their cycle. So there's this peak out, and, we might have started certain projects. We might have started certain, duties in life. And this might be a time where we're looking at that very clearly, and we have to decide if it needs a change, if it needs something more. Do we feel powerful in this aspect? Do we feel emotionally connected to what we started? And if not, there's certain things that we should change about it to make it better. There's something about this detachment in Scorpio or with Pluto, even though we could have these just locked in desires, maybe there's just something we can change up to transform it or transmute it in a way that's more beneficial as we close out, this year and come back to a, Sun-Pluto conjunction when we get into January of next year. So, there's this aspect of this very divine, energy trying to come in and give you a lot of creative oomph and make things happen. But you might find that they're not the things that you thought they were going to be. They're not the things that you already started. Or they're very, they're making it better. It's like this analyzation of like seeing what you can make better, what is more of the desire, what is more of the heart, and what really is, that deep desire. And sometimes we have to release and move and pivot in life. North Node is in Gemini, and we're going to see the North Node move to 9 degrees of Gemini this week. That's a trip in itself. It's been at 10 degrees for a long time, and it's going to cross over like exactly on top of Aldebaran. Archangel Michael, the south node, will be on Antares, the heart of the Scorpion. So definitely there's this polarity of light and dark, and even when you get into an opposition to Pluto, like you're really dealing with like underworld stuff. So we might be seeing some dark stuff, peek their head up in life to show us a little bit of the underworld. Sometimes we got to take a peek down there. That's part of life. We got to harness all sides of all things. The more dots we can connect with light and dark and up and down and side to side and all things, the more we can even, come into mastery in this life in some way, shape, or form of understanding how it all works, which is, I don't even know if that's possible, but, there's the enlightened masters out there that I would say have a pretty good grasp, but that's not all of our journey, definitely not mine. So I'm still learning, and hopefully you are too. So we might have to see some darker aspects of some big decisions that we made, I would say too, by the end of the week. With Pluto in Capricorn, there was big decisions that we could have made over the last 6 months, and this could be like a real good look at if those decisions were good or not. Did we make the right decision in life? Did we make the wrong decision? Do these decisions that we made, do they vibe with the heart still? Do they vibe with your emotions still? You feel like there's a foundation there? So it's a good time for introspective, in really getting down to, like I said, earlier, like your personal life and your feelings, and using that to, create something great. It's a great week for creation. Very amazing. And, there is a yod. There's a couple yods in the chart. Mercury is going to make a yod with, this one's kind of meh. It's Saturn in Aquarius, sextile the south node in Sagittarius. They're both going to quincunx to that Mercury in Cancer. So, in many ways there is this responsibility to look at our emotions and analyze them, and maybe too, look at what we really do believe, about ourselves, and analyze those things, and not just stay, fixated or indoctrinated into a belief system, but to kind of expand out, to look at things from a different perspective as well. And then we're going to see, right, because Pluto and Neptune have been in sextile for all of our lives, really. So they are going to make quincunxes to Venus and Mars in Leo. So, this is it's a big week. I think there's this very strong soul pull to take the next step in, your spiritual journey, and that journey within, and really opening up this heart, really actualizing life from that space, following your gut, following your intuition seems extremely important as well. And it can come through really weird ways, the finger of God, the yod. It's kind of like the Leo King taught in some of his schools. It's like you're just a puppet on a string, and there's just something, you're not in control. Like there's just you're like Pinocchio, and you're just getting blah, 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 blah. Of course, he does become a real boy, so there's this aspect too, like of being puppeted around into your true, authentic, real self, and being very honest and expressing that 100%. That illumination. The sun is going to show up and shine every day, no matter what. Even if we see clouds, that sun is shining. And, no matter what, I think it's important that we all, take that responsibility and authority within ourselves to show up and shine every day in our most unique and authentic way. That shine is just authentic, not holding anything back. So it's one of those weeks, and there could be a very strange pull that's trying to purify and change certain aspects of choices you made, of the reality you live, to, let you let it all out 100%. So we'll jump into the chart now, see what's going on with the week. I'll probably go through this pretty quick, but Monday, we get the sun at 20 degrees, so it's in that third decan of Cancer, and the moon and the sun, of course, are sharing mutual reception. Moon in Leo, sun in Cancer. which is dope because even when the moon comes into Virgo, it's going to share reception with Mercury. So we get this like very, I think this is a very good time when it comes to like really feeling into heart's desires. We're going to see that moon come over Venus and Mars. That's beautiful. It is going to quincunx Neptune. So right, that's kind of part of that spirification that I've been calling it. So we're really feeling emotions on Monday, like especially at 20 degrees, but it's like emotions of how we feel about things we started or things we wanted to do in the outer world. And I think we have to bring those feelings back into our body, back into ourself, and make sure that they are really these aspects of life that we want to root into, that make the most sense. And we are seeing, um, and then having the moon like very personal, having our moon with Venus and Mars. So I mean, this is again taking all that and making sure that there is this like purification of desires, of relationships, and do they feel right to the heart? Um, are you able to shine? If you're not able to shine, what in life, that might be part of the spirification is like, you know, moving blockades in life so that your light can emit for your truth and your feelings and letting it out there. So I think, Monday is pretty beautiful for really feeling into matters of the heart, matters of what you want to create, and what you really authentic. How authentic can you really be? The more you are, the more I think you're going to feel very like, I don't want to say like, I mean, have this sense of cleanliness, like light, like, oh gosh, like, I'm not feeling stressed. I'm feeling pure, pure in my heart's desires. Or, there's things that we have to kind of look at closely too, so that we can purify these things that are weighing us down or giving us this sense of guilt. Like, oh, if I just do this because I want to, I'm being selfish. And, that's not true. You know, selfish is there's just a difference, right? Like Leo, people can say that's selfish, but it's not selfish to do what your heart wants. Like if your heart's not in it, your heart's not in it. If you're just doing things to do them, and you're really probably not giving it 100. You're probably not shining fully. So whether it's relationships, jobs, or whatever it is in life, like if you're not in it, you're not giving 100. Which is that even fair to the other person, right? So it's almost just more selfless in a way to be authentic and true, because then you're not wasting someone else's time. It's one way to look at it. And yeah, so I'm not going to go into Monday too much. It's that kind of day. It's very powerful in Leo with the moon there, and the sun and the moon are in. It's almost like the king and the queen are like they like had different quarters in the castle, and they switched to like check out like, oh, I want to see what the queen's bed feels like tonight, and she's going to check out my bed, and so it's almost like we're looking at this perspective outside of self to see if it really matches what the self wants. And we're getting this exact North Node, Aldebaran, South Node, Antares conjunction. So, and Black Moon Lilith. Is Black Moon Lilith at 9? 8. So there's this like battle of light and dark for sure within us all right now. I think we're having to see darker sides of our truth. We're having to see, darker sides of maybe what we believed in, so that we can take in new information and make better decisions for what our light within us does want, and how we can let that out and express it. And Black Moon Lilith in Gemini, which is where it's going to be, it's going to float between Gemini and Taurus for a while. But we can't be afraid of information. We can't be afraid of new truth that comes out. And it's more about doing it yourself. It's more about like looking for things yourself, and not being told. So like, what's really showing up in front of your life, in front of your nose, in front of your face right now in life? And are you just gonna like turn that stuff down because of old beliefs that whatever? I think we're all in like this new youthful school right now with the North Node in Gemini of like seeing what's true, what's not. But you got to be willing to look at new information. If you just go off what you've been told your whole life, Well, that's very indoctrinated. That's very Sagittarius. Like, oh, well, the gurus in my life all told me this, so that's my belief. So finding a balance between that will help us, see light and dark, I think, very clearly, and make sense of it. Tuesday, we get the sun at 21 degrees. And I think that, Tuesday's a very expansive day. And that moon's going to come into Virgo and share reception with Mercury. So, this is like very nice for like getting, you know, I feel like we're dissecting a little bit of our reality and of our mind and of our emotions so that we can make this purification like take place. And it goes through like, communicating how we're feeling. If things are not right, if things don't make sense, if things don't fit right now, like big time, energy here to like speak, you know? And Mercury's going to be in that semi square, that 45-degree angle with Mars and Venus, who do come together Tuesday morning at, I believe, like 6:45 in the morning on the west coast of the United States. So it's a powerful day for creation. It's a powerful week for creation. People can be like really wanting to do something great, really wanting to be seen for what they're doing. And it's interesting that we get that, and then by the end of the week on Saturday, we get the sun opposed Pluto. So it's like, I think we're getting a good look as the sun does build up to that opposition to Pluto of heart's desires, soul desires, big time like things that we want to dedicate to and create in this life. And, people and our relationships. And if we're getting the attention we want, or if it makes sense, if it doesn't make sense anymore for our own heart, for our own soul, like, we got to do something. So I think it's a powerful day, powerful energy. It is Mars Day. So, it's like, gosh, if you can take action for what you want to create right now, you can blow these things up, you know, in very, beautiful ways, and using your imagination as the sun is building up to a trine to Neptune. And of course the moon's going to oppose Jupiter that day too. So like there's just so many, big things that can take place, but it's almost like you have to be able and willing to change things, to start things, and you don't want to be too stubborn. I would say that's important too, is like be flexible for what your heart wants. If you're just going to deny it, you're probably going to feel kind of like guilty about it. And we don't want to like put ourselves into some negative, place of guilt because we're just not actualizing what the heart wants. So I think that that's, something, and it becomes through communication, you know. Got to express these things, and they could be big ideas, they could be big feelings with the opposition to Jupiter, and they could be big time, like, big time importance for your own spirituality and your own spirification, as I've been calling it, especially with the Pisces um, Jupiter axis. It's very much like that is the spirification axis. Like, how are you merging the two worlds, the physical and the non-physical? And do you have faith in, if you have to make a change and clean some things up and move some things around in your physical life, that it's going to work out? So, faith is important too. I think, we can't just sit back and let faith do all the work right now because of this South Node in Sagittarius and Jupiter dispositing that. Like, it's great to believe. It's great to have faith. It's great to trust your intuition, but bring that to life. Like, use that creative force and bring the unseen into the physical world. And I think this Leo is going to really, really, really help with that, especially with this very creative energy of Mars and Venus coming together. It's very beautiful. So like, go create something, go make something happen. Like, go love, go shine, go be 100% yourself and be authentic. And don't hold back. Don't close your throat chakra just yet. Like, if you open your heart chakra, then that solar plexus is going to come right to that heart, and then right from that heart it goes to the throat. Got to speak up for the matters of the heart. Super important. And the moon makes good aspects. We did see on Monday, Mercury trine Jupiter. So, this is very like right brain, left brain, trying to like make big things happen and understand matters that are maybe bigger or a little farther out there. And then the moon's going to make some, nice aspects too, and sextile that Mercury in the morning and get ready to square the nodes and get ready to trine Uranus tomorrow. So there's a lot. I think there's some beautiful things that have to be like spoken for and like, be true to what's coming through, be true to yourself, and that'll be very helpful. And Wednesday comes around, we get the sun at 22 degrees, kind of like a little, we kind of go out into outer space a little bit on Wednesday. Like I think it is that Mercury day, but I think we're like really looking at things objectively. So it's this time to kind of focus on our personal life, focus on, our roots, but at the same time we're really like this. I feel like there's just going to be this third person perspective, especially as we're a day away from, really that evening, like, early in the morning on Thursday, we get that sun trine Neptune. So this is definitely looking at things from, a way up point of view for what's going to bring you the best emotionally, for what brings you comfort and what doesn't, what spiritually aligns, what doesn't, what makes sense deep within you. And not to just shy away from those feelings, not to just shy away from what you see, but, kind of disconnect from the emotions for a second to make sense of them and to be able to communicate them. Because sometimes, right, if we're just in our emotions too much and we go to speak or go to say something serious, like, it comes off a little edgy, come off very passionate, but sometimes, we can rub people the wrong way. So, if we are speaking up for these things, if we are, letting our heart guide us, we want to try to maybe, and I'd say Wednesday, making that 4, which is Uranus, try, and Uranus doesn't have a drop of emotion in it. It's literally an alien. Kind of detach a little bit from emotions so that you can speak them clearly. So feel them, know what you want, feel what's coming through, and then be able to detach so you can have like, I would say a more like positive conversation if you need to have conversations. Like Wednesday's a good day to speak, especially on Mercury day, because I don't think we're going to be as attached, although there is this opposition to Pluto, which could, it could be a lot of things we're attached to that we don't, need to be attached to anymore, that we started, that we're like, I love this, it's my precious. Yeah, well, it just cheated on you with Mars and Venus. Is that still your precious? You just had an affair. Like, still your precious? Okay. Kind of a joke, but kind of serious at the same time. So, be objective, be, smart with your emotions. If you need to take a moment to step away from things to make a big decision, because a lot of is being processed within, I would say that it's a good day for that too. Like maybe not just go out and speak everything, but detach, get things consolidated in a way that makes sense, that connects the dots in your own personal life, in your own personal world, for whatever it is that you might really want or that you're creating or bringing out there. And then you have that. So it could be a great ally to take a step back, kind of smell the roses. And moon is going to trine Uranus. So, with a sun at 22 and a moon trine Uranus, it is an electric day. But it's an electric day for objectivity. It's almost like correlation, observation, correlation, or like observation even with like you're really looking at how you're feeling, really observing and like, yes, I've been feeling this way. This makes sense. So you could be making sense of values, making sense of things that you need to purify and get to the bottom of. And the moon is going to oppose Neptune as well. So, I mean, we're kind of out there this week, but it's out there is really in here, so it's like the more you can go in to get these things dialed in, and your creative outlets, use your creative outlets. I have a friend, her birthday is actually on the 18th. She's been doing a lot of pottery and clay work, and oh my gosh, she's been making beautiful things and just channeling so much through her hands and through the earth and clay, which is very Virgo, right? Literally molding earth into something beautiful, taking a clump of meh and then making it, beautiful, right? So let your creativity flow so that you can beautify your reality, so that you can make sort of maybe really innovative and genius changes to your physical world. Yeah. Yeah. Thursday, we get Sun at 23 degrees. It does come off the exact trine to Neptune, and that's at a mercurial degree, very Gemini, North Node in Gemini. This is a day, I would say, like Wednesday is more like that day you disconnect and kind of like objectify and get to the bottom, of your own feelings from like a disconnected point where you're not just like sobbing or crying about something, or, even like taking a step back and being like, whatever the feeling might be. And it could even be like things that have you feeling super, super happy. Well, sometimes it's good to, ask why those things made you happy. Some things, I'll be honest, some things used to make me happy that were really bad for me. So, just going to put that out there, just objectify things. Just take a third person view of like, come up in your spaceship on Wednesday and just be like, yes. Almost like, just be your higher self for a day on Wednesday. And then Thursday, it could be extremely dreamy. There's so much creativity. Neptune is, kind of unbound creativity in a lot of ways. But you have to use it. If you don't use it, then it's just like, oh, the universe will do it. And kind of a blind, it's a blind spot. Neptune is literally like the fog, right? It's, it looks like a water planet, but, it's just gas. So it's like, I'm going to jump into this, and no, it's not there. It's not what you thought it was. So I would say, like, just there's things that need to be, utilized and understood for this spiritual purification. And we are going to start to see Venus start to make that quincunx. So this is really part of that spiritual purification. Like, and you're going to get signs. They're going to show up. Like, God's trying to show you what's going to let you be more authentic, what's going to let you shine brighter, what's going to let you create in that light, in God's light, and what is holding you back a little bit. And the moon comes into Libra, and it definitely comes back to relationships. And with a Mars and Venus, it's a huge week for relationships. Like, they are either balanced and harmonious and beautiful and creative and loving, or they're not. And, we all go through that from time to time. So we want to be honest and, be honest with the reflection that we're seeing with that moon in Libra. It'll really help us if we can be, honest with what we see and what others are bringing back to us and showing us and what that reflection is, right? And Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus totally looks like a mirror, right? So we want to even things out, but we're like understanding things from a very out there perspective, from a very very right brain perspective. So it can feel very channeled. It can feel, it can feel very beautiful. I'll be honest, like, the heart can be wide open on Thursday for so many amazing things. And what is the heart telling you? I think the more you listen to that, because I definitely look at Neptune as like the highest octave of the heart. So what is that heart really telling you? And are you willing to, not just put on the rose-colored glasses for what it's showing you, but are you going to, take that and use it because you feel it and you know that it'll bring you something, likely more secure, likely better, likely just an overall better feeling. But we're in this place where the sun's approaching Pluto, and we can not want to let go of old things. We can get very obsessive compulsive when we get with that Pluto. So, pay attention to the heart. Don't obsess over things that are not of your heart right now. Like, that don't feel right with you. That's not going to be fun. And the moon will get close on Thursday to the trine to Saturn. It won't, but it will square Mercury. Quincunx Jupiter. So, Moon square Mercury. Gotta, again, more expression, more stuff, and then Moon in Libra, like expressing your true feelings and emotions with other people, you know, balancing things out by how you feel and not being afraid to talk. So there could be a lot of talking too. It could be, kind of like meh, 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 meh. A lot of emotions getting spewed everywhere because of the day prior where you kind of like had a day to process it and be like, whoa, wow. Can't believe the universe just showed me all that within myself. It could be beautiful though too, so I'm not trying to keep it like negative or anything. You could be like getting some major aha moments for just how to bring more creation and beauty into your life, and you want to speak that into existence. If you need to, whatever it is, be open, be vulnerable with your heart to shine, and I think that you're making magic happen. And it's interesting too. Black Moon Lilith is going to be making really good aspects to Venus and Mars on that Thursday too. So it's like you don't want to shy away from your truth and your authenticity of what brings you happiness and how you make it happen for yourself. Friday, we get the sun coming to 24 degrees, which is a very Venusian degree. So, especially with the moon in Libra, like, gosh, I wasn't expecting to talk about relationships so much, even with Mars and Venus, but, Friday is definitely a day of like some more of that, very, very Libra, trying to balance things out, trying to get to the bottom of how you really feel and the things you want to keep pushing forward with and dedicating yourself to, and decisions that were made in the past. If you got in a relationship since January, this is like a pretty big time where you're like, well, is this really working out? Is this really my future? Is this where I want to like dig my roots in? So, I would say don't shy away from a decision um, that the soul, that your heart really wants to move towards. Um, yeah, and the moon's gonna post Chiron, so we don't want to feel like you know lost and like too far from our ego. We don't want to feel like just nothing. So I think we gotta, grab a hold of this great wisdom we have about what we learned about ourselves and what we think we need and what we, desire and what we want to evolve towards and make happen in our lives. And that needs to, be looked at, and not just like shied away or be like, oh, I don't have what it takes, or I don't have the courage to have this talk, or to let my emotions out there, or to be vulnerable. So it gets pretty vulnerable this week. But again, hopefully, you're opening up to things that are magic and that really light you up. Like, that's the most positive part of this week, is like you could be just seeing so much magic. And we're going to see Venus make that quincunx to Neptune on Friday also. So, spiritual purification when it comes to relationships and matters of the heart. Are you getting the attention you want? Are you being seen enough? Are you valued enough? It's likely that God will show you very clearly, and Pluto and Neptune are in sextile, so we get the yod to Venus and Mars for that. As Mercury approaches about 9-10 degrees, it's going to be in a yod with Saturn and the South Node. So the weekend gets, it gets ratcheted up in kind of intense ways where, like, you're going to see things, but are you just going to put on the rose-colored glasses? Or are you going to really step up for what you want? You might just see really weird things show up that are, like, that really pull the heartstrings, that pull on your emotions. And it could be like this final straw, like Sun opposed Pluto could be like this final line, like, nope, crossed it, that's it. And that's just Pluto, right? But Pluto does bring, rebirth. So can't just like hate on Pluto. Saturday we get the opposition. So pretty, you know, I think we saw a lot over the week, right? We're just going to see things play out of like matters of the heart, matters of the emotion, things that light us up, things that don't. And the more honest I think we can be with ourselves and our goals and our plans and what we want to, take action for, and, even take self responsibility and emotional responsibility for the decisions that we did make, the easier it'll just be for whatever's like, meh. And, Mercury's going to come and make this opposition, in a couple weeks too. So, probably end of next week. Or end of next week, early next week. Mercury's moving pretty fast. But it's coming. So, we could see a lot of things with the government. This would be a day where, even more so Friday, like we could see a lot of things in the government and in society and in the world, and institutions, make a power move on people, especially people and emotionally. And, honestly, it'd probably be something regarding like people that haven't got the vax, like, or the jab or whatever you're allowed to say on the internet, because apparently you can't talk about things anymore, they're probably going to make it harder for those people, which, so much for your body, your choice, right? Which was a very, left-wing liberal thing for a long time. And boy, have things turned upside down. Kind of funny, right? You think of like Stranger Things, like the upside down. Like, they sure did foreshadow life these days. We live in the upside down. But despite all the stuff in the world, this is a really powerful time for your own personal life, your own personal feelings, what you are going to dedicate to, what you truly feel is right for you. So remember that. And we do get Mercury in that yacht again. So, I think that there's like, if we can take what we did learn and what we, do believe in, but be responsible enough to make changes that bring us more security in life for our own emotional state, and to speak up for those things, and to speak up for like what's best for, not only your individual self, but for all people. Like we can grab, I think, some pretty amazing genius. So it's almost like dipping into like past life knowledge, almost with that South Node in Sag. And like, you know what? We know a lot actually, but it's a matter of like getting into that space, and then, having the integrity to feel it and bring it out and communicate that, so that we can create great things for ourselves, and, great things for others, and be very innovative and be very unique and authentic. And yeah, there's this like there's a higher power out there. I'm telling you, like, yes, we've all had Neptune and Pluto in sextile. Like probably everybody watching this has that sextile in their chart. It's, they've been for a long time, and they're going to start to separate, at the end of this decade. But, when we get these yods to them, there's something bigger pulling the strings, and it's outside. It's not seen. It's outside the three dimensions. It's very, it's really like God, like your soul, like your higher self, Pluto, and God, straight up with Neptune, and like the collective unconscious. So, we could be tapping into really creative things that are going to be better for all people, but we might have to get our hands dirty to do it. And that's going to be part of the purification. And that's going to be part of the spirification. Is like getting down to the nitty gritty, and not, dimming your light, stepping up, being true, putting it out there, 100. Sunday, happy birthday to a couple people. Erica, I don't think she'll watch this. And my ex-wife, Ari, I don't think she'll watch this either. But shout out to them. They're both born on July 18th, 26-degree Cancers. So happy birthday. Happy birthday to all the Cancers out there watching. And, we get that sun separating from Pluto. So hopefully we saw, clearly soul desires, what we want to keep pushing for, that we want to dedicate towards, and what didn't meet up with the mission, what didn't meet up with, the rest of the trip up the mountain. So it's almost like a baggage drop, like we made it halfway up the mountain, and, we might have been carrying some trash with us. And, I'm not saying just throw your trash on the mountain, but hopefully on this particular metaphorical mountain, there's a trash can, and you can dump your trash off and not obsess over like, oh, there was still a crumb. Well, you have one more Cliff Bar. Just go. And then it's a serious degree too. 26 degrees is very, very serious. And that 25th degree is a very spiritual degree for Saturday. So very divine and then very serious. Now, what do you really want to dedicate to on Sunday? And we get the moon in Scorpio. And on Saturday, we also get the first quarter square. So I kind of got lost and like left the chart a little bit. Just kind of weird. But the weekend's a big one because you have to make big decisions about yourself, about other people, about the reflections you're seeing, about what's going to balance out your life, what you want to dedicate towards. It's almost like you're writing the contract for the rest of the year. What do you want to be in that contract? And then moon comes into Scorpio and it gets very deep. It gets super psychic for sure. It makes a great trine over to 0-0 Jupiter. Probably Saturday evening is when that happens since the moon's at 14 degrees. But nonetheless, big weekend for that. And trine over to Mercury. So there's great things that we can take power for within ourselves. And we can be very in tune with our psychic abilities, with our emotions. We can get into that deep well of desire, of passion, of what we want to be intimate with, what we want to illuminate. We're going to see Pluto also quincunx Venus. And that is more of a scorpionic quincunx. So it's an interesting week for relationships. It's an interesting time for relationships because you're either merging with, soulmate and amazing love, or you're pretty much seeing that just isn't there, and are you going to keep dedicating to it? So Sunday's big. What are you dedicating to? Are you being completely honest, or are you bullshitting yourself? We're going to see the moon oppose Uranus in Taurus. Like, are you going to make a change that's going to be more of value to you? Or are you going to my precious something? And it doesn't have to be a relationship. It could be just a choice or a decision of the past that maybe you're still working towards, or so there's something radical could be showing up. And it's like showing you that maybe there wasn't a lot of power in there. Maybe you thought there was a lot of power, but there's not. Maybe it showed you how you are powerless in life. And that's what Scorpio and Pluto can show us at times, is that, we can feel like we have a lot of power, and we can also feel like we have zero power. And that's part of this life. So learning to accept and not hold on to things that don't matter anymore, that we graduate from, can be very beneficial to our own psyche, our psychology, our own feelings, our heart in this case too. So truly appreciate you all. Hope you enjoyed my interpretation of this week. I like this week a lot. I really do. It does get heavy at the end, and relationships just could not stop coming up. I mean, it depends on totally the individual. But the more honest and authentic you can be with just yourself, the more you can be that with other people, and the more that whatever you need, you can create right now. So, great time for making big it's kind of like Leo's the risk too, the gamble. So sometimes, especially with this creative energy and this Venus and this Mars here together, and even with the moon at the beginning of the week, maybe you just got to take a risk. Maybe that risk will give you the greatest payout in the end. Six of Coins reversed for the week. We're going to be searching for balance. We're going to be searching for... A lot goes on with that moon in Libra, and a lot goes on with relationships. So there's going to be this give and this take of what we really desire, what we really want, how much we can keep giving to things. Is it worth it? Do we want to keep dedicating? So it's definitely a week where I think, it's important to find your balance, to not just give too much. You don't want to be a charity case, especially if it's just giving away your heart and your life force. If you don't really feel a deep connection. So, and I think, it's interesting with Venus and money too, and then getting this card with Pentacles. Money's great, but, we also can't just give away, our capacity in life to build and create and to make things happen, and our life force either for money. That can take us out of balance. I used to make a lot of money doing a job I hated. I'm not saying everybody should go quit their job, but it definitely taught me that I can be really unhappy making good money. So I think there's just so many different aspects in our physical world that we want to balance out, and we don't want to just give to things that the heart isn't fully into any longer. And I think this week makes that pretty clear, and I think this card definitely shows that as well. All right. Shout out to David Palmer, the Leo King. Truly appreciate all that he taught me. Shout out to K Pacha at New Paradigm Astrology. He's taught me a lot recently too. Definitely, he's very good with archetypes, and it's helped me kind of like expand my vocabulary on archetypes, which is great. Since I do these videos, like articulate is, it's important to articulate my feelings. I'm a lot of Capricorn, Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde. Anyways, Venus in Aquarius, so moon in Aquarius. Need to articulate my feelings. It's been a journey to get there, but I can do it. I just had to take time. Just took some time. Had to work on it. Typical. I had a lot in Capricorn 10th house. Everything I do, it fucking takes time. So, thanks for being here with me. Thanks for helping me build this channel up over 1,000 and following. And yeah, thanks Christopher Witecki. Don't want to leave him out. I definitely still really appreciate Step Astrology and how he brought that to life. Definitely amazing. So, amazing astrologers. So grateful, extremely grateful for you all. And I hope you have a beautiful week. I hope you create magic. I hope you actualize everything that your heart does desire, and that you don't just let heart's desires be swept under the rug for something that doesn't even hit with the soul anymore, or it doesn't feel like it has this divine purpose for you. I love you all so much. Have a beautiful week. I'll catch you next time. Peace.